History. First,
Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. I welcome you all to our event today to celebrate Accreditation Day and its importance in quality assurance and socio-economic development in the OIC countries. This initiative has been jointly organized by Comstech and Pakistan National Accreditation Council. We are joined today by excellencies, ambassadors from different countries, dignitaries from universities and organizations in Pakistan, and representatives from the media. Thank you so much, everyone, for gracing us with your presence today. I would like to formally begin the session by recitation of a few verses from the Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان. الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان. والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان. صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah. Next, I would like to invite Coordinator General Comstech, Professor Dr. Mohammad Iqbal Chaudhry, for his welcome remarks.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have our chief guest, Honorable Secretary, Federal Secretary, Ministry of Science and Technology, Mr. Ghulam Muhammad Mehman. A wonderful person, a person with great human attributes. And sir, I met you last week and was absolutely impressed.
Thank you.
From your humility, your grace, and your capacity to connect with people. So thank you very much, sir. My dear sister, Ismat Gul Khatak, Director General of Pakistan National Accreditation Council. We have many distinguished guests. We have Chairman Pakistan Science Foundation with us, Dr. Shahid. We have Ambassador, His Excellency from Morocco, sir. Thank you very much. We have representatives of the embassies of Iraq, Palestine, and many other countries. And most notably, we have just received a brand new ambassador, His Excellency, from Ethiopia. He has joined only 15 days ago, and he is with us. So thank you very much, Excellency, for your presence here. We also have Professor Dr. Fakir Anjum, the ex-Vice Chancellor of University of Gambia, who is here with us, representatives of different universities, very dear friend, President of EcoScience Foundation, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this is an honor to have you with us this morning. I want to introduce you to someone who has a very special significance and importance, Mr. Abdul Rashid. So, First Director General of Pakistan National Accreditation Council when it was established in 1998. I saw him working in the establishment of this premier institution of the country day and night. This is your contribution that this organization is now firmly established, one of the most prestigious organizations in the country. And we are very, very proud to have your contributions recognized at all levels. So this is with great pleasure and joy that I welcome all of you to this very important celebration of International Accreditation Day. This is mainly in public information raising event, which is jointly organized by OIC Standing Committee on Science and Technology and Pakistan National Accreditation Council together. We have been working with PNAC on different projects, and I'll tell you about them in a while. We all understand that accreditation is an extremely important approach towards standardization of the processes and products. Be the manufacturing process, analytical and diagnostic laboratories, scientific research and development, businesses, all kind of it, all against different international standards or national compliance standards. Accreditation is now globally accepted as the gold standard of best practices in all forms of human endeavors in the field of education, science and technology, laboratories, research centers, universities, and other institutions of higher learning are all obtaining accreditation as to compete internationally for quality and excellence. These accreditation help them to streamline the academic and research processes, produce high quality graduate, and generate high quality research results and patents based on the research being conducted in those institutions. In manufacturing sector and in business sectors, companies who have acquired accreditations are able to improve quality of their products, achieve compliance to regulatory requirements, improve efficiency of employees, and cut cost of the production. Their high and consistent quality products are sold in much higher prices than their non-accredited competing products. Therefore, accreditation and standards are considered as essential tools for value addition in the world of manufacturing. In Pakistan, we are extremely lucky that our leadership, our Ministry of Science and Technology has thought about that a long time ago. It was established in 1998, And this was part of a larger program to improve quality of Pakistani products. The Pakistan National Accreditation Council was firmly established through a lot of capacity building, through partnership with many, many international organizations. And for that, I would like to acknowledge again the initial leadership and the pioneering work which was conducted by Mr. Rashid. We at Comstech are extremely happy that we are working closely with PNAC. And the fact is that in OIC world, 27 countries out of 57 member states are least developed countries. And that is a very unfortunate scenario. Many of these OIC countries either do not have their own national accreditation bodies or do not have the capacity to get them recognized internationally. They do not have capacity to train their assessment inspectors and others. So the whole range of capacity deficit which exists, and that is the reason why we feel PNAC can really help in filling that gap. And that is where Pakistan's best capacities are showcased at the international level. In this context, Comstech is working closely with PNAC, with Kazakh National Accreditation Body, OIC General Secretariat, and many other partners in the OIC world. They are even thought of developing an OIC level OIC accreditation body in Jeddah. So there are a lot of things actually going on because of the importance of this extremely important component of socioeconomic development. There are three major contours on which we wish to work together with PNAC. One at a national level, because there are many countries where either accreditation bodies are not existing or they have not really reached to a stage where they can really harness the fruit of this very important process. So at the policy level, at the legislation level, and helping them to establish their own accreditation bodies. At the second level, we would like to build the capacity of their accreditation body so they can carry out high quality assessment of industries, organizations. And for that, PNAC is an ideal partner. And of course, it's extremely important for us to understand that PNAC can work together with many of these accreditation bodies, jointly conduct these activities for industries and others, and then this sustained capacity building would eventually help them. And this is the best way of building their capacities to work in the field. So there are many things in which we are working together with PNAC, and for that, I'm extremely grateful to Asma Sahiba because she has been very forthcoming and has been working closely with us. And we have actually an activity plan for the future also. Before I end, I would like to tell you about Comstech activities very briefly. Comstech being a premier organization of OIC system. This is the only intergovernment organization which came to Pakistan. Pakistan is the host of it, and President of Pakistan is the chairman of this organization. And in last 2 years, we were able to initiate many, many projects. For instance, Comstech runs the largest fellowship program, research fellowship program in OIC system. We have country-specific programs with Palestine, and I'm glad that representative of Palestine embassy is here with us. We have a program with Yemen. We have a program with Sudan. We have a program with Nigeria, Burkina Faso, and we have discussed a program with Ethiopia also, where we have a sizable minority of Muslims, about 40% of them, 50 million Muslims in Ethiopia. But that is going to be for everyone in Ethiopia, because Ethiopia is certainly one very important African country where we have the headquarters of African Union, as well as very active Pakistan embassy, which represent Pakistan's interests in African Union. We have to ask Comstech Science in Exile program, an extremely interesting program for refugee scientists, about $0.5 million project, in which we are helping refugee scientists who are displaced because of the results of conflicts in their own countries, and we are placing them into different laboratories, so they continue to work and produce science, and eventually when they go back, they would remain a very productive part of the community of scientists in their own countries. We have a program with the International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology in industrial health and agriculture biotechnology for African countries. We have comstech International Foundation of Science program, which is a science program for 5 years, and that is about $1 million project, and this largely supports young people in LDC countries. We have initiated a large program with Islamic Organization of Food Security, largely focusing on precision agriculture, as well as number of other facets of agriculture productivity, including environment-friendly agriculture. comstech has established environmental and ecosystem restoration forum, and for that we are working with the Sahel countries. comstech Consortium of Excellence, which is comprised of the top institutions of the Muslim world, is the real backbone through which we conduct our activities. These are top institutions in different countries, including Pakistan, and that showcase Pakistan's excellence in the field of higher education, as well as in science and technology. We are very, very grateful that media has been actually highlighting all these major initiatives, both nationally and internationally, and that is a very important aspect of it, because public awareness about the initiatives of Pakistan is extremely important, because this is the science diplomacy initiative. Sir, Assalamu alaikum. So without taking much of your time, I would like to thank our very dear Mr. Mehman, Secretary Science and Technology, for the first time here in comstech. We're delighted, sir, that you are here with us, and we'll be able to brief you about some of the activities of comstech, as well as our collaboration with PINAC. We're very grateful to all of you for your presence here. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Iqbal Chaudhry. Next, we have a video message from Assistant Secretary General at OIC Jeddah, His Excellency Ambassador, Mr. Askar Mohsinov.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am well delighted to have an opportunity of speaking in this event, jointly arranged by comstech and Pakistan National Accreditation Council. It is a pleasure to be a part of expert assemblies alike, with plenty of people around, fully committed to make life of their fellow Muslim brethren better in science and technology domain. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, is on the same page with the international community in celebrating Accreditation Day and admitting its immense importance to ensure quality management and socio-economical development of any country. It is my special pleasure today to greet Professor Adil Ibraev, President of Kazakhstan National Center of State Scientific and Technical Expertise, who is attending our meeting for the first time, and with whom I hope the OIC, comstech, and PNAC will create productive ties in the nearest future. Accreditation of conformity assessment bodies plays a major role in determining technical competence, integrity, and impartiality of these organizations, along with making them to follow international standards. International standardization of bodies also opens ways for them to secure foreign markets and to provide them with sellable products. In addition, accreditation and standardization are to help in reducing the human impact on the environment, to be in full correspondence with our commitment to meet sustainable development plans. Thus, advancement in science and technology is indeed essential in making these aforementioned quality systems of accreditation workable and reliable. Technological advancement is not only about promoting innovations, but it also relates to improving quality and productivity of systems existing. Countries notably successful in science and technology are well capable of mobilizing engineers and scientists for the sake of rapid national economical development and make ultimately living standards of their people higher. When it comes to the OIC, there is Standards and Metrology Institute for the Islamic countries, SMIC, which is known to be a primary and solid mechanism to harmonize quality assurance standards amongst the OIC member states. This OIC-affiliated organization is designed specifically to establish across the OIC community standardization, metrology, and accreditation for quality management through a mutually recognized system. Furthermore, comstech, in association with SMIC, are about to hold in Bangladesh and Uganda training courses on halal product standards and testing, with the aim of making participants from Africa and other LDC OIC member states aware of procedures to implement and use of halal testing standards. I commend in this regard comstech for its numerous capacity building initiatives for the LDC states and for the help to our Muslim brothers through transferring knowledge and skills. I wish to use this opportunity to immensely laud comstech and Pakistan National Accreditation Council efforts to make this very gathering happen, and doing so to highlight the importance of accreditation-based quality assurance issue for national socio-economic development. I'm also happy to see under the OIC umbrella countries like brotherly Pakistan, wherein the international accreditation systems keep operating pretty well, with pivotal role being surely played by Pakistan National Accreditation Council. So I'm quite certain that countries which are still lagging behind in quality assurance accreditation, be it either due to non-existence of accreditation system or having them no international recognition in this critically important domain, should heavily rely on assistance of countries like Pakistan in increasing their relative capacity building level. Dear brothers, in conclusion, I want to thank the esteemed government of Pakistan, represented today by the Ministry of Science and Technology, Pakistan National Accreditation Council, and comstech for organizing this important gathering, and to wish you all good health and prosperity, inshallah. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ambassador Mr. Askar Mosinov, for sending us your video message. Next, we have a message from President of Kazakhstan National Center of State Scientific and Technical Expertise, His Excellency Professor Dr. Adil Ibrahim, who will be joining us online.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. I am glad to welcome you at today's event dedicated to the celebration of the International Accreditation Day. At the end, on July this year, the President of Kazakhstan met with the Secretary General of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, Hussein Ibrahim Taha, in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. During the meeting, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, noting the development of cooperation with the OIC, confirmed Kazakhstan's commitment to further expand cooperation with Muslim countries within the organization. It was an opportunity for me to get to know the activities of the OIC more closely and find common ground for possible cooperation in the field of science with your organization. In my welcoming speech, I want to give a brief description of Kazakh science. Kazakhstan science is represented by 438 organizations, including 93 higher education institutions and 193 research organizations. About 22,000 people are engaged in scientific research, including 17,000 people. These are research specialists with a very high level of professional training. Of the researchers, 7,500 people have a doctorate degree and 5,000 people have a master's degree. It should be noted that Kazakhstan has long-standing ties with Islamic countries in the field of training personnel for science. Thus, in 2021, 183 undergraduates and 38 doctoral students from the member countries of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation were trained in education institutions of our country. Kazakhstan conducts scientific research in almost all fields and covers natural, technical, agricultural, biological, social science, medicine, arts, and humanities. The largest volume of expenditures falls on applied research in the field of engineering and technology, as well natural resources. Research in the field of agricultural science occupies in the third place in importance. The sphere of scientific specialization of the country includes such areas of research on space science, mathematics, physics. The scientific interest of the country is also represented by material science, chemistry, engineering, environment, ecology, economics, and business. The strengths of Kazakh science include such areas as mathematics, material science, engineering, environment, ecology. The results of research on them arouse considerable interest from the world scientific community. Research in the field of medicine is very promising. We are interested in revealing aspects of possible cooperation with the OIC countries, including the field of agricultural science, crop production, animal husbandry. For closer cooperation, I propose to open a representative office of Organization of the Islamic World of Education, Science, and Culture in Kazakhstan. Thank you for attention. Не выключай. Зачем выключать?
Thank you very much, Dr. Adil Ibrahim, for your remarks. Next, I would like to invite Ms. Ismat Gul Khattab, Director General, Pakistan National Accreditation Council, for her keynote talk on importance of accreditation in achieving sustainable economic growth and environment. Please.
Please.
Professor Dr. Iqbal Chaudhry, Coordinator General Comstech, His Excellency Ambassador Askar Masanov, Assistant Secretary General OIC Jeddah, His Excellency Professor Dr. Adil Ibrahim, President NSCTE Kazakhstan, and our chief guest for today, Mr. Ghulam Muhammad Memon, Federal Secretary Most. Excellencies, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all of you. Talking about accreditation, highlighting its importance, and only in 20 minutes, I don't think so it's very easy and it's possible. So I thought I would choose a small video, 5 minutes video, which will be a much better way of explaining it to you. Then I can talk about a bit about my presentation. But initially, we'll watch a 5-minute video that will clarify some of the things for those who are very new to this subject. Please start the video. And it's only 5 minutes.
The world economy relies heavily on natural resources provided by healthy ecosystems. And yet, we continue to put these ecosystems through enormous stress and to consume resources at an alarming rate. Resource extraction and processing was the cause of 90% of biodiversity loss and water stress, and contributed to approximately 50% of total greenhouse gas emissions. For long-term economic growth, a considerable shift is needed in our production forms to be more sustainable, less resource-intensive, more focused on climate mitigation and carbon removal. All this alongside biodiversity protection policies. Accreditation, alongside other quality infrastructure tools, including metrology, standardization, conformity assessment, and market surveillance, can support this shift. Third-party conformity assessment services, testing, inspection, certification, validation, and verification ensure compliance of products, services, and systems with the requirements specified or claimed. The umbrella of the ILAC, Mutual Recognition Arrangement, and IAF, Multilateral Recognition Arrangement, where signatories recognize each other's accreditations as equivalent, accreditation, and accredited conformity assessment services, provide an essential contribution to the implementation of policies and actions aiming to protect the planet. For example, by confirming that CO2 levels comply with specified limits, emissions from industries are within an acceptable range, that the traceability of organic food is clear, air, water, and soil pollution are tested, and that environmental management systems and biodiversity protection schemes are implemented. Climate change mitigation and adaptation depend on the transformation of economic activities to become climate-friendly or carbon neutral. Using accredited tests, measurements, certification, and verification and validation services strengthens the global response to the threat of climate change by playing a central role in energy efficiency programs, energy generation from renewable sources, and public policies such as carbon pricing, financing for low-carbon development projects, and by incentivizing the promotion of low-carbon solutions and carbon emission reduction schemes like ICAO Corsia. Accreditation can provide attestation that CABs are impartial, technically competent, and in compliance with relevant international standards, such as ISO 14065. General principles and requirements for bodies validating and verifying environmental information, and ISO IEC 17029. Conformity assessment, general principles and requirements for validation and verification bodies. Another standard, ISO 50001, energy management systems. Accredited services thus contribute to bringing green energy to market and making the operation of regenerative power generation plants safer. For instance, in the certification of plants for regenerative energy generation, the inspection of wind and solar power plants, and the certification of offshore wind farms. Accredited testing laboratories prepare expert opinions on wind yield or on shadow and noise forecasts for sites of new wind turbines. To reduce the impact of economic activities on the environment and support long-term economic growth, countries worldwide are shifting from a linear to a circular economy. The circular economy is an economic model where production and consumption do not compromise the environment, as it focuses on repairing, reusing, remanufacturing, and recycling, thus reducing the production of waste and the use of resources. The challenges facing the environment and subsequently the world economy are numerous. However, standards and accredited conformity assessment can help reduce the human impact on environment as we strive towards achieving sustainable development goals.
Okay, Ji. Back to my presentation. This is the content of my presentation for today, which is I would just briefly inform about how where does the need come from for the accreditation, and then the introduction of PNAC a bit, and then a bit about achieving a sustainable economic growth and environmental sustainability simultaneously, because the general concept is that with industrial growth, the environment will definitely be degraded, but there is a way to solve it, and that's what we are going to discuss and has been informed in the video. And then the role of PNAC, how PNAC can help, support, assist our brotherly countries. The need for accreditation came when WTO was signed by Pakistan in 1995. And then there was initially a primary requirement of, previously there was a primary requirement of only paying the taxes and you could export your goods to other countries. But then later on, the secondary wall came with the WTO, which was the technical barriers to trade. These were actually not technical barriers, but they were based on standards and specifications. So countries considered them as barriers to their trade. This is only compliance with the requirements of that particular importing country to protect environment, health, and safety of the citizens of that particular country and the earth in general. According to the TBT, clause 6 and clause 9, I'm not going to talk about it, but they refer to the quality infrastructure of a country. In Pakistan, we have a sound quality infrastructure, alhamdulillah, which we have a very good standards body, which has adopted more than 23,000 standards from ISO directly, and some have been modified and some are internally produced. Metrology, we have, alhamdulillah, a good metrology system, which is traceability to international measurement standards. So it is not really the other standard, but it is related to the measurement. And then we have conformity assessment bodies, which is laboratories, inspection bodies, and certification bodies. And some of the representatives of these are already sitting here under this roof. And then finally, accreditation, which check the competence of these accredited certification, inspection, and laboratories. So that is what the role of accreditation is, and we have this quality infrastructure available in Pakistan. Generally, they are used by regulators, manufacturers, producers, consumers as a confidence. So to ensure that there is a confidence in that particular product, if it is accredited, then the consumer will use it without any hesitation. So what is accreditation? It is actually a procedure by which an authoritative body, which in this case is PNAC, with the authority has been given by the government of Pakistan, gives formal recognition that a body or a person is competent to carry out specific tasks. And normally accreditation bodies are always, it has to comply with international standard, that is ISO 17011. This is the standard for the accreditation body. In Pakistan, it started in 1998, and our first Director General is sitting here, Mr. Abdul Rashid. Thanks to him, because he put us on the right direction, and that is why we are all here towards this way. and I was deputy director at that time. With the mandate we have a very focused mandate. There's no going here and there. We have a mandate to award accreditation to conformity assessment bodies, which is laboratories, certifications, and inspection bodies. Firstly. Secondly, to conduct trainings to prepare a pool of assessors, because we use them for the accreditation purpose. And then to train the conformity assessment bodies, because they have to be prepared in order to get accreditation. And then raise awareness among the stakeholders. Stakeholders could be anybody under this roof. I mean, everybody is a user of accreditation. And international recognitions in order to get our access or equivalence with international bodies, we needed this MRA or MLA, which is a mutual recognition arrangement or multilateral recognition arrangements. These are the international recognitions that currently PNAC have. One is ILAC, International Laboratory Accreditation Corporation, IF, International Accreditation Corporation, APAC, Asia Pacific Accreditation Corporation, IHAF, it is for halal, and CIMIC is working under OIC, and it's making the standards for halal in particular, which we are following. Some sectors where accreditation is widely used. I heard Dr. Iqbal Chaudhary saying about education and other, yes, they are all accreditations, but what is more focused to us is related to trade, environment, energy, public health, security, safety, halal. All these are actually using accreditation. And in many countries, it has become a regulatory requirement, especially in GCC. The way they have improved, I have worked with them for 8 years. I know how fast they are growing. And one of the reasons is that accreditation is a mandatory requirement in most of the countries. And that's how they are making their systems very efficient and highly compatible with the world. This is an interesting figure. The reason why people are using it is because there is some economic benefit behind it. It's not because only for the quality assurance and only for some reasons, but because there is an economic aspect. It's a financial benefit of it. And according to the OECD report, 80% of the world trade amounting to trillions of dollars involves conformity assessment, which is testing, inspections, and certification. Say a product goes from here to some other country, and then it has to be tested either there or here. So if it is tested, certified, and inspected in Pakistan, and if the accreditation body is MRA signatory, it doesn't require retesting in those countries, hence saving thousands and thousands of dollars for each manufacturer or exporter. And so there are a huge number of case studies available on publicassurance.com. It's a website of ILAC and IF, but I selected these three only just because of the time constraint. UK, according to research in UK, it is like 6.1 billion pounds of additional UK exports can be attributed to the use of quality infrastructure. So the standardized products, accreditation, certification, that is per year, that is their increased income. Italy had problems initially, but then they started making accreditation as a requirement in many things. And so from 2013 to 2018, the economic impact went up to 10.8 billion euros. And this study was conducted in 2020. Recently in Sri Lanka, about 2 years ago, the cabinet passed, they made a decision that accreditation will be mandatory for all technical decisions. So now they are preparing their systems to make accreditation for most, they are identifying, prioritizing areas, and they're going ahead with it. Sustainable economic growth and poverty reduction. How would we reduce poverty with accreditation? Coming to that. Poverty reduction then comes with the economic growth. So how would we have the economic growth? It will come with trade. So how would we increase the trade? We need market access. How would we get market access? First, we will have non-tariff barriers and we will have tariff barriers. We already had them. And then there has to be a competition between a small Sialkot based industry and a big industry somewhere in a big developed country. then the competition says that if you are complying with the international standards and your accreditation is MRA signatory, you can win the competition. Recently, the football for the World Cup is made by Pakistan in Sialkot. So an example, and it is accredited, the laboratory is accredited by PNAC. An example of environmental and economic sustainability is, it was very nicely explained in that video, but I'm just going to say for example, this country is exporting water to a country which is having not enough water, drinking water. So country is exporting, then the importing country would require lots of certifications. It could be occupational health, it could be food safety, or any other product. I'm just saying water because it came to my mind. I'm a bit thirsty maybe. So energy efficiency, say whether it's halal or not, so CIMIC will be required, whether it's testing of laboratories, whether it's inspections, whether it's product certifications, all these requirements will be asked by the importing country. So this is how it will work. It will give compliance to international standards, minimizing environmental degradation, overcome technical barriers to trade, and will have global acceptability and level playing market. So a small company in any, thank you. Thank you. A small company in any small country can compete with big giants around the world. So it's a level playing field. And there's a fair competition. If you're complying with the standards, there's no reason why it shouldn't be accepted. So the consumer also has trust and it has a market reputation. This is now my main. I wanted to go through that because I wanted to talk for 5 minutes on this particular thing as well. How can we contribute along with comstech? How can we support our OIC countries? I was going through the website of ILAC and IAF, and I found out that approximately 30 OIC countries do not have any accreditation system at all, 30. 13 have multi-economy. So it means that there are 3 multi-economy. Multi-economy is when you have a few countries get together and make one accreditation body. And there is a reason for that. I can come to at the end of the presentation, I'll talk about it. So they are there. Many countries have accreditation bodies, but they are not internationally recognized. And many have internationally recognized ABs, such as PNAC or some few countries. So we can develop international systems for these accreditation bodies, or who want, we can help them out, because we were helped out by Norwegian accreditation. So we can help out others. It's a chain reaction, and then they will help out others. Training staff of accreditation bodies on international standards, because this is very important. Accreditation, when we have these peer evaluations, we don't have any equipment to show them. We don't have any other things to show them. Our only equipment is our laptop, mostly. So they come and check the competence of the people working in the accreditation body. So what is more important for any accreditation body is to have highly competent, very well trained staff. And that is what we can help others who need them. Pool of assessors is an asset for accreditation bodies, because accreditation bodies cannot work with thousands of employees. There would be a variety of scopes. So normally they would not be a full-time employee. So what they would do is they will have a pool of assessors, they will train them, and these assessors will be used on day-to-day basis. So whenever some were maybe used for 2 days a month, some would be used 10 days a month. It depends on the availability and everything. We can develop it within their countries, and then we can have also train their laboratory certification bodies and inspection bodies who do not understand or do not have idea about the accreditation standards. We can help them with that as well. And then we can also have hands-on, we can allow them to have hands-on experience in Pakistan, in our laboratories, others, our certifications and inspection bodies. So their teams can come and work with us, because accreditation is not a theoretical knowledge. It needs to have a hands-on experience within the premises of that particular client. And then we can also have in the future joint assessments with PNAC. So it is a very confidence building exercise that your assessment is equally good. And then where needed, we can have we can award accreditations using their technical expertise in those countries and using their decision making in Pakistan initially or parallel. And then we can also prepare if somebody wants to, and hopefully many of them would want to go for peer evaluation and international recognition. So we can conduct, even if somebody is prepared, we can even conduct a pre-peer evaluation for them, because we already have approved peer evaluators from ILAC and IF. The single economy AB is normally, so just a bit about ABs. This is the last slide and I'm just going to talk 2 minutes on it. Single economy AB is normally when every country has its own AB. So AB is accreditation body. Sometimes one country will have one AB, sometimes 5 countries will have, or 10 countries will have one accreditation body. It depends on the number of conformity assessments usually. And then sometimes accreditation body will be a private sector or a public sector. Both are existing. There are certain conditions that have to be met. So those conditions are important. They will never be part of a laboratory, or they will never own a laboratory or a certification body or inspection body. That is one key issue behind other requirements. And you can have more than one accreditation body in a country. And the most important thing is accreditation bodies can be financially sustainable. The governments do not need to really fund them if it is planned from the start, and they don't need, they can have their own business plan. It's very easy. I've prepared one for our accreditation body, inshallah, and we've already prepared it. Hopefully one day it will be approved. And then you can also, all those countries who are interested in sharing this, so I can share it with them as well. And the time and resources, maximum time required is approximately 3 years in order to get international recognition. This is the not the maximum, the minimum time required. So within 3 years, an accreditation body can get international recognition. So any questions? If there are, we can have a discussion in the tea break time. Thank you very much.
Sir, we will have a networking session at 11:15. You may ask your questions then, please. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam Ismat Gul Khattak, for your very insightful presentation. Next, I would like to invite our chief guest, Mr. Ghulam Muhammad Maiman, who's the Secretary for Ministry of Science and Technology, for his remarks, please. Thank you. Please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Professor Dr. Mohammad Iqbal Chaudhry, Coordinator General Comstech, Mr. Askar Wasinov, Assistant Secretary General OIC, Dr. Ismat Gul Khattak, DG PNEC, Professor Dr. Adil Ibrahim from Kazakhstan, Excellencies, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum and good morning. It's an honor and privilege to address such a distinguished audience, having diplomats, policymakers, representatives from various ministries and organizations. Today's event emphasizes the importance of accreditation and its role in socio-economic development of the country. Sustainable economic growth and poverty reduction can be achieved by augmenting the international trade, and this can only be possible if the country's quality, accreditation, metrology, standardization, and testing infrastructure is robust and recognized by the relevant international forums. Although the adoption of the standards and use of accreditation and conformity assessment have not been a major concern of policymakers in the development countries until recently. However, Ministry of Science and Technology, through its special initiatives of National Quality Policy and Plan, is keenly working to strengthen the conformity assessment activities in Pakistan. These initiatives will ultimately promote the quality culture in the country and result in poverty reduction and economic development. The accredited conformity assessment activities, apart from lending credibility to the products and services, are providing confidence to the importers, consumers, producers, and regulators, and have become essential tool for enhancing the trade by reducing the technical barriers to trade as required under the WTO regime. As mentioned earlier by the DG FINAC, the importance of the conformity assessment could be realized by the fact that 80% of the world trade involves conformity assessment, and this has been very important for making the technical decisions in the many countries across the world. It is indeed commendable that Pakistan National Accreditation Council is among very few accreditation bodies in the OIC countries which have established its standing by securing international recognitions through mutual and multilateral recognition arrangements to provide accreditation services in accordance with the international requirements. Its membership of international conformity assessment bodies is testimony of its credibility. Due to this international recognition, the results of the PNEC's accredited laboratories, certification bodies, and inspection agencies are accepted everywhere in the world. I congratulate Pakistan National Accreditation Council on achieving its milestone and look forward to its role in developing accreditation system in the countries where it is needed and wish PNEC greater success in the years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chief Guest. Now I would like to invite Dr. Iqbal Chaudhary to present the Shield of Honor to our Honorable Chief Guest. Next, I would like to invite honorable ambassadors to the stage, please. We would like to present you Comstech yearbook and newsletter, please. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Please join us in the lobby for high tea. Thank you so much. And then please join us outside the auditorium for a group picture. Thank you so much.